Yeah, hello and welcome to the Perry Wellington Realty and Circuit Mortgage Show. This is podcast number 17. And today's show is going to feature Mike McIntyre.
Hello there.
Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me, Adam.
Okay, so this is a little bit different for you. It's your first podcast.
Absolutely.
And your first video podcast. So we're actually experiencing Google Live on air. So we're actually, for those of you listening on the podcast and just listen to the audio, we also have this available on video. So we're posting this on, it'll be posted on YouTube.
Very nice.
Right. So this is podcast number 17. We're going to talk about getting your career jump-started in real estate. Right. So, Mike, you and I go back a long time.
We do.
We've known each other since high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are working together. We've never worked together. That's interesting.
It's been exciting. It's been quite a journey.
You bet. So we're going to talk a little bit more with Mike. I'm going to do a couple of introductory things here today, and we'll talk more about Mike getting his career started in real estate. I'd like to remind everyone about Perry Wellington Realty's new location in Largo, Florida. That's in the St. Petersburg area. If you're looking outside right now, St. Petersburg would be just awesome right now, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and we actually have some people joining us on the podcast there today, so you can actually see some people chiming in, which is kind of nice. So St. Petersburg would look sandy and white sandy beach, not white snow like we see outside.
Well, I was away last week on vacation, 85-degree temperatures in Florida, and came back to 20 degrees. So.
You better cut that out right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Perry Wellington's got a new location in the St. Petersburg area in Florida, and of course our main location in Duncansville, Pennsylvania. We have the St. Petersburg location has a phone number of 727-466-5002, and our Duncansville location still at the same phone number, 814-695-5323. And remember, we have locations across central Pennsylvania. And we even have an office in Scranton and Reading. So we've branched out across the state. Circuit Mortgage, our partner company in the mortgage business, is at the same location in Duncansville at 693-5337. And we have a branch office that does quite a good business in State College. Reminder on classes, March 17th, we have a class for new agent class. You took new agent classes with us.
I did, in Hollidaysburg.
Right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that too. Soon, we're going to be teaching classes in Johnstown. We just picked up an instructor in Johnstown. We're very excited about that. And we're getting our courses approved in Florida right now. We have a licensed school in Florida, and we're in the process of getting all the course approvals right now lined up so we can get that going. So again, you can always call me, Adam Conrad, broker and owner of Perry Wellington Realty and Advance Academy, to talk about getting started in real estate. And again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that with Mike here. So again, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about our website. We have our website at perrywellingtonrealty.com. We're going to talk a little bit more about the purpose of the show. Again, this show is a real estate explainer. So this show is designed is really designed to explain things to people and give you a better understanding of real estate topics. We've been having guests. I promised we'd have guests in the beginning when I started doing this, and we're finally having the guests now. So we'll be talking about some different topics in real estate and the challenges we deal with every day in the real estate business. Along the way, you're going to pick up tips and suggestions about real estate. And just because you're not in the business, maybe you're not looking for a house right now, that's not really that important, because you could be that you're going to gain some knowledge when that day comes, when you're going to buy or sell a home. It's going to be very helpful to have spent some time with us. You probably have friends, too, that might be interested in some real estate topics. So you find when you're in real estate, people ask you questions all the time, don't they, Mike?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And suggestions that we're able to offer to people ultimately save them money. The things that we can help you with on the front end, on the back end, can oftentimes save you thousands of dollars.
Great. So we're going to talk about some more of those tips here in a moment. Remember that we also have some other television. We have some other programs. We have a TV program on WTAJ TV based on Altoona. For those of you not in the Altoona market, you can get online with wearecentralpa.com. We actually have our own link and our own channel on that. So you go in there and you see Perry Wellington 4.5. You can watch our show segments And if you're a seller, one thing that's really important to keep in mind is that we feature properties on that show. So we put 6 properties every week we put on that show to feature and highlight those properties. And last week, I got a little story about last week. Last week, we showed a house that had some handicap accessible features to it. We no sooner stopped talking about the house. Our phone rang in the office. We had somebody call and request a showing for that house.
Very nice. Very nice.
So it works. I mean, the show definitely works. And so that's a big advantage. So again, we have segments in the show that's going to highlight the properties, interviews with agents, and things like that. And again, as a reminder, this program provides information about real estate and mortgages. It is not, however, legal or tax advice. For those, you should contact an attorney or tax professional. So let's talk about, again, just a real quick reminder, the 4.5% commission rate. What makes us different than a lot of other brokerages is we publish our rate, and we tell you right up front, this is what we're going to charge to market your property. It's very important. We also keep in mind that we do not charge people additional fees for advertising. We actually had somebody, we were in a competitive situation. Somebody was looking to list a house. Another brokerage is looking to list a house, and we were looking to do the same thing. We had somebody come away from that conversation. A client came away from that conversation thinking that somehow we charged extra for advertising. And nothing could be further from the truth. We even on our commercial properties put up commercial site signs. That is all at our expense. We don't add anything for the client for them to have to pay for advertising. So 4.5% commission rate gets that conversation started. People get that rate, but they stay for service, right, Mike?
Absolutely. And there are multiple points of advertising that we offer. We have the TV show every Friday on WTAJ at 4:30. We have the Altoona Mirror ads. We also advertise in the real estate books. And we have a real nice presence on the internet. I know we advertise in multiple MLSs. And what that does for a home seller is it exposes your property to more potential buyers in the market. You get more views on the property, and that ultimately generates more interest in your property.
That's great. And so, Mike, we've got you here in the studio for this event today. You're probably thinking, what in the world are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
We talked about a couple of topics we want to chat with you about. What I think the thing we're most interested in is you're obviously not fresh out of high school.
No,
you're not starting. No offense, but neither one of us are fresh out. We've known each other for 25 years, and. So you're getting started in real estate. So this is kind of a second career for you.
It is. It's something I took on part-time. I've worked in primarily medical sales for the last 20 years and did some career changing. Wanted to get into real estate for quite a long time and just really didn't know how to do that. And with the school that's the classes that are offered at the school in Hollidaysburg and the way that the brokerage connects with with the public in the area, I saw it as a great opportunity for me to jump in and move full speed ahead.
Great. So, this being a second career, again, you said you started part-time. Now, whenever I approached this business originally, I'd looked at doing this 25 years ago.
Yeah.
At the time, nobody would take on a part-time agent. That just wasn't something anyone would talk about.
Well, interestingly enough, Perry Wellington has a number of part-time agents. I work with folks that are school teachers. I have another position in sales, but Perry Wellington has really offered the individual that's interested in a real estate career the opportunity to get in, get your feet wet, and basically see if you've made the right decision, if it's something that you want to continue to pursue.
Right. So. No, you have a sales background, right, Mike?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really curious about, folks come to the real estate school from a bunch of different walks of life. We have nurses, we have people that were, that are teachers. We have people that are still teachers that look for something to do in the summertime. We have people that have been in the medical profession. We have, all kinds of walks of life. We have people from manufacturing, and we've had a number of people come into the business through the sales with a sales background. So I'm curious what your opinion is on somebody that's got a sales background, when they're coming into real estate?
I think it definitely helps because there are things that attribute to success in sales, like developing a business plan and kind of following that model throughout the year. But, the bottom line is all the professions that you've mentioned, whether it be sales or whether it be a teacher, they all deal with people. And that's what our business is really all about, is dealing with people. And, what I've found is people love to do business with people they're comfortable with. So a lot of it is relational type sales with Perry Wellington and with real estate. You mentioned a nurse. I know we have a guy that is part of the postal system. These people are dealing with the public day in and day out. The bottom line is each and every one of those people are problem solvers. And that's what people are looking for when they go out and they want to list their property or they're looking for a property to buy. They have an issue. They want someone to solve their problem for them. And I think that that's what we do a good job of.
So it's interesting because we're going to actually do a segment on the TV program later today about the difference between, the way real estate's kind of been in the past and the way real estate is today. And, one of the perspectives we want to bring into this is the fact that we say we're in real estate sales, but I'm really going to say that we're not in real estate sales. Right? I really think we're in real estate helping you buy.
Correct.
And I'm not sure that that's an easier thing to say. Maybe there's a better way to put that. But nowadays, we're really in the business of helping buyers buy. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. And our job right now is to find the right property in the right market and at the right price. Obviously, we don't want someone to overextend because they're going to end up with a property that ultimately they're not going to be happy with. The internet has afforded us a lot of opportunity to show and display properties to potential buyers. So what happens now is folks can get online at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night in their pajamas and basically shop for a house.
We hope they're in their pajamas.
We hope. But, that's something that wasn't possible, 15, 20 years ago. The MLS system was set up a lot differently. There was a book and you got a picture of a place and some specs on it. But now it seems like when I take someone out to view a property, they are an educated buyer. They know a lot about that potential property when they walk on the front porch or they open the door and walk in for the first time. And, that's all attributed to technology and technology through the internet and the way we've positioned our properties online.
Right. So, and I talk with people about this all the time. I mean, I ask people, do you subscribe to the newspaper? You get the newspaper?
No, I don't.
No. And it's interesting. The local newspaper, there's a big, locally in the Altoona market. Now, you go to other markets, you go to St. Petersburg, there's nothing even similar to what we're doing here.
There aren't homes listed in those newspapers.
No. You look in the Sunday newspaper and you won't see any houses advertised, but you open up the Altoona newspaper and you see brokers putting in 2-page advertisements, which must have worked in the past, because why in the world would you spend thousands of dollars every week putting in a 2-page ad to display a little thumbnail of a property? Because, the notion is that works. And, the reality is today's buyer isn't doing anything like that, are they?
No, they're not. They're actually going online. They're doing a lot of research on their own. They're coming to a real estate brokerage like Perry Wellington with a couple of properties in mind. Properties that they've seen pictures of, in some instances virtual tours. One of the things that Perry Wellington can also do that I know that no one else in the area is doing is can do a individual property website. So if you're a seller and you're looking to get your home featured, that's a great way to reach potential buyers. And the nice thing is there's a virtual tour that can be uploaded to that. So before someone even steps foot into your kitchen, they know what the kitchen looks like. They know what the property, how the property is laid out, and they've made some decisions. The buy cycle has changed quite a bit because of the technology that's available.
Mm-hmm. So when you came into this business, talking about this whole notion of getting your career jump started in real estate. So somebody's listening to this program, they're saying, "Well, geez, I've always kind of thought about doing real estate." And I'm interested in taking the classes, or I'm going to start taking the classes either online or through Advance Academy. and they're approaching the business saying, I wonder what I don't know already. They're kind of coming into it saying, I think I know a lot about this, but there's things I don't know. I'm sure that you had a perception when you were going to get into the business, and you thought about a bunch of stuff, and then when you started to get into business, was there anything in there that kind of that wasn't what you thought it was going to be?
It's been exciting, and that's what my expectation was from the start, that it was going to be something that was going to be a real exciting opportunity for me. What I can tell you is it's not all what it seems like on television.
Oh, so it's different from TV.
A little
You mean
bit.
TV's not real, Mike?
No,
No.
no. You take the good, the bad, and you roll with it. And we're in a situation here in our market where it's a relatively healthy market, and there are a lot of properties out there. And it gives someone the opportunity to come in and focus in one area or focus in a lot of different areas. I know initially I wanted to work a lot on the buy side, and it seems like lately I've been doing more on the sell side. And, each represents its challenges, but each also offers exciting opportunities to continue to grow the business in central Pennsylvania.
So you mentioned this, and it's confusing for a lot of folks. You talk about the buy side, and then you talk about the sell side. What we're really talking about there is listing homes for sale versus, and at the same time, you're working with both. You're working with listings that you're selling people's homes, and
Correct.
And you're listing them for sale. And if you notice that there's an interesting dynamic there when you mention this, and I don't think a lot of people get this, and that's that when you list a home for sale, it's not very likely that the person who lists it actually sells it. I think that's a myth that a lot of folks haven't gotten their brain around yet.
No, and I agree with you. One of the things that we do at Perry Wellington is a designated agency. So you're going to have a designated agent when you list your property that works exclusively for you as a seller. Someone else is going to bring, and it could be another agent from Perry Wellington or another local brokerage, but they're going to bring the buyer to the table. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we do that is pretty simple. You can't represent both sides of the fence effectively. And I think that buyers and sellers both appreciate that, because let's be honest, buyers are trying to get the best price for the property.
Right.
And sellers, on the other hand, are trying to get the most out of the property. So if you represent both, it's hard to please both sides.
Well, Mike, shouldn't you just want to just meet in the middle and everybody gets along and everybody just kind of make it all happen and keep it together? Because that's what the agents who do both sides say.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work out well for that from that standpoint, because what happens is ultimately an agent will take sides. An agent will pick the buyer, pick the seller, and they'll want to help them. And, the way our agency is situated and set up as a designated agency is we represent the interest of one party to the transaction. Mm-hmm. And basically, that's the way we've demonstrated that we're going to look out for the best interest of our clients.
And that's an excellent point. And that's something that I know you learned in class. But that's not something that was taught years ago.
No.
Designated agency, and I know you probably don't know this, I just actually learned this the other day. Designated agency has only been around since, I think, 1999.
Wow.
So really the year 2000, the millennia, change of the millennia actually ushered in a new era of designated agency. So before that really wasn't. So if you learned real estate 20 years ago, you didn't learn designated agency. You didn't probably learn buyer's agency. And, today the buyer wants a representative. They want somebody that represents their interest. And that's a very critical difference. So if you sold a house or bought a house 20 years ago and you're back in the market and you're saying, gee, I want to pick a broker that's doing business today, that I can trust and has experience and has knowledge. If they learned the business 20 years ago, I wonder if, certainly I think our point of view is use us because we're very much leading edge and trying to make sure that people understand these differences, and we're trying to educate people about that.
Well, and you bring up an important point. I think the key is representation. And everyone wants to have their representative looking out for them at the table. And I know whenever I go out and I buy something, I want, if I have to work with someone to do that, whether it be at a new car or something along those lines, you want to get your best price as a buyer, and obviously the seller's trying to get their best price. Our system, the way it's set up, helps everybody, because eventually you do come to the price where the buyer's happy and the seller's happy, and you've basically reached that happy medium. But everyone's been represented effectively in the transaction, and I think that that's very important.
So, being in real estate and getting your career jump started in real estate, what are some things you did initially? So if somebody's out there listening and saying, I want to get going, I'm really thinking about doing this, what are some things you did right off the bat to help get started?
Get yourself pumped up. If you're going to do it, do it. If you're going to jump in and you want to take the classes, go to the classes. You're paying for the classes, and take down as much information as you can and learn as much as you can up front. And if you're going to commit yourself to trying something, give it your full effort. Go after it, believe in yourself. The other thing that I think's really helped me is social media. One of the things that I put into my business plan was I wanted to have a website. And now with technology, you can do that pretty inexpensively. I created a website and had hosting done for $120 a year.
Wow.
And, then what I did is I went to my Facebook account and I created a separate Facebook account for Mike McIntyre Realtor. And, another thing is, tell everybody and their brother and their sister and their cousin what you're doing. And, those folks that know you or know of you oftentimes want to do business with people they feel very comfortable with. And that's essentially how you get jump started, is to put your name out there and let people know what you're involved in, and let them know the passion you have for getting them the property that they're looking for, or to get the right buyer for the one that they want to put on the market.
So a combination of, some of your own, effort, lots of your own effort in getting the word out, and then spreading that out through social media like Facebook. Now, one thing about I've been talking about this in the last couple of days with the agents is Google Plus.
Absolutely. Google Plus is a great tool.
Yeah, and a lot of folks probably aren't familiar with Google Plus, although this is actually done as a Google Plus Hangout. We actually broadcast this as a Hangout through Google Plus. So there's a lot to Google Plus. Google Plus is, for lack of a better way of explaining, is Google's Facebook. And because Google runs search and is kind of the king of search, anything you do on Google Plus, Google has kind of tweaked the algorithms a little bit to say anything you do on Google Plus is going to get priority over things on areas like Facebook. Interestingly, every Perry Wellington agent has a Google Plus account when they join us, because by default, the way we use our systems, they have to set up a Google Plus account. How much they use that is up to them. But one of the things about Google Plus versus Facebook is the growth. Google Plus is growing. It's about half the size of Facebook right now, and it's got a full steam ahead. It's moving full steam ahead, so it's really moving quickly. And I would venture a guess, and I have not gone out and looked at this analytically, but I would venture a guess that there's not a lot of real estate professionals that are on Google Plus yet.
No, I agree with you. And, Google Plus was something that I wasn't real familiar with before I came to Perry Wellington. But after being introduced to it, I recognize it as an integral part of what we do every day. It's a tool that I use and will continue to use because of the search features and because of the ranking system, as you mentioned.
Well, the one of the things that you did, I had mentioned in one of our training sessions, is that agents should take ownership, so to speak, of a patch, of an area. So if you live in a part of town or you're familiar with a part of town, you should be the kind of the king or the queen of that patch. You should really kind of establish yourself as the local expert and be, I call it like hyper about knowing everything about what's going on in that area. And interestingly, we're sitting in the office, and our office in Duncansville we actually rent from the Meadows, and the Meadows is a very popular ice cream stand that was, when did they start that thing, in the 50s?
50, yeah.
Yeah. So they started this ice cream stand. It's very popular. It's actually called Meadows Intersection is where we're located, and they went and tore the doggone thing down here a while back, right as soon as the weather changed, and they started rebuilding it. So you actually went out and built a page, a web page, and you've been doing something. You want to talk a little bit about what you're doing there?
Yeah, actually, what I did was I linked it to my Facebook page, and I've been promoting it through a site called You're from Altoona, and it's a group on Facebook, over 7,000 members. And what I've been trying to do is chronicle the new Meadows frozen custard stand in Duncansville. It's a iconic, if I can use that word, historical site. Everybody knows the Meadows intersection. And, when the construction vehicles came in and started taking down the building, there were a lot of people that became very interested in it. So what I did was started to chronicle that. I know the Meadows very well and had an opportunity to talk with them about their plans, about the progress. And I really think that they want to bring in a 50s style upgraded version of the old facility. The new one's going to have a drive up. It's going to offer some additional amenities. But, the bottom line, and I think you mentioned it, is the custard recipe is going to stay the same.
Right.
And new facility, same old custard recipe, which everybody knows and loves. And, what I've tried to do is chronicle that for people in the area and also people that may have moved out of the area but are still interested in what's going on back here in central Pennsylvania. And, that's actually helped me reach some people that normally I would have never had the opportunity to reach because I just don't know them.
Right. So this notion of becoming, and one of the reasons we suggest agents do things like this is it gives back to the community, it adds value, and it creates a connection. It creates a connection point. So you're doing this because you love doing it, and at the same time, it's a benefit to the people that are outside the area, the benefit to the people locally. And oh, by the way, people are saying, hey, well, Mike McIntyre, he does, he's a great guy, and he's helping out the community, and he's giving back. And when I need a realtor, I need somebody that's concerned, involved, knowledgeable, those types of things. They're going to say, Mike's a good guy, and Mike's somebody I'd like to use as a realtor. Getting back to what you said when we started. People buy from people they like. And when you have a buyer that's working with you, they know, hey, Mike's a good guy and Mike's somebody that I'd love to work with. And I think he's attentive. And as long as he's not spending all day hanging out at the Meadows, writing up his blog and his chronicles and pictures about the Meadows and actually spend some time on real estate, they're happy to use you. And I think that's really part of the message, isn't it?
I think you're absolutely correct with that. People like people that they can connect with. And the Meadows for me was something that everyone from the area or everyone that's ever been through the area can connect with. So, I took that on as kind of a personal project. And it's been really exciting to watch the new facility go up. And it'll be really exciting in the spring to see the new changes that they're going to bring in.
That's great. So just to kind of wrap up with one or two other questions, Mike, when we put Perry Wellington together, the Perry Wellington Realty together, we set out to create a brokerage of, quote, plenty, meaning there's lots to go around. Everybody contributes and everybody benefits, much like a potluck dinner. Does it feel that way to you when you come into the brokerage?
It absolutely does, because one of the things that we talked about earlier was working as designated agents, representing one side of the transaction, either the buy side or the sell side of the transaction. What that does is creates a lot of camaraderie with the other agents, because obviously if I have a house listed, I'm not going to be the one that's going to sell it to somebody else. One of the other agents is going to do that. And that gives us the opportunity to really partner with somebody else in the office or a number of people in the office and basically bring them in and work with them one-on-one. And I don't think you have that in an agency where you're working both sides of the deal.
Right, because in that case, if you're trying to be a dual agent trying to grab both sides of the deal, then everybody's your competition.
Everybody's your competition, and that's quite the opposite of Perry Wellington. What I found is people have gone above and beyond to try to help me out as a new guy. And, one of the things that, I've done is I found a mentor. And she's been great in helping me, move my transactions along so that, if there's a mistake, we catch it. And it gives me the opportunity to learn and grow. And I don't know if I'd have that somewhere else.
And that's one of the things that we intentionally did in creating the culture around Perry Wellington is this notion of plenty, because brokerages, and I read an article a long time ago about the notion between a brokerage where you have this notion of a potluck dinner where everybody eats, everybody brings a dish and everybody eats. It's kind of like a family reunion, right? Versus a brokerage where everything appears like a pie. And I've when you're a new agent starting out, that is a cultural difference that I think you absolutely have to reconcile with, whether you feel comfortable working in a brokerage where it's the notion of when I come in as a new agent, I'm actually competing with these agents and I'm going to take a slice of their pie, and their pie is going to be smaller, because I think a lot of people feel that way. We've talked to plenty of agents who have joined us and said, boy, when I was working at X brokerage, it really felt like nobody was interested in helping me.
And I agree with you. I don't, from a practicality standpoint, I don't see how that would be possible. Because if someone's able to work both sides of the deal, they don't need to partner with another agent to help them out.
That's an interesting perspective. And we actually did no dual agency because it's the right thing to do. But it actually turned out to be a real benefit to agents, hasn't it?
It absolutely has, especially for someone looking to get into the business. Like I said before, there are plenty of people that are ready, willing, and able to help you, and are excited about helping you, because the success of everyone benefits the agency, as a whole. And I think that that's what we're all in this for.
That's great. So we talked a little bit about the culture. We talked a little bit about getting started. When you go out to look for a brokerage, really, any other tips, Mike, as we wrap up today?
No. I think if you're going out to look for a brokerage, you want to partner with a brokerage that is going to look out for your best interests, whether you're on the buy side or on the sell side. You're also going to want to look for an agent that you can have a good working relationship with, someone you feel real comfortable in dealing with, sometimes on a daily basis, and someone that you can vent to if you need to vent. And ultimately, what you want is someone that's going to help move you through the transaction effectively. And I think we have the right system and the right program in place to do that. We do electronic documents, which make it easy for a lot of folks. What that means is we're not shuffling paper all over town. And a lot of times we can have a customer sign a document and it can be scanned and sent right back to us. And, technology has really changed the way real estate's going to be practiced over it already has, but I see nothing but the upside for the next 10 to 20 years with the technology that we have in place.
Well, that's some great tidbits there, Mike. We're going to wrap this up, and that's all the time we have. We try to keep these to about half an hour. And so remember to think 4.5% commission, and remember to catch us on the web at perrywellingtonrealty.com. You can always visit us at our office addresses that are on the web. Don't forget, we offer all types of loan programs. So if you're out there looking to buy a home, Circuit Mortgage is there for your mortgage lending needs. We also do reverse mortgages. This is Adam Conrad and
Mike McIntyre.
You're going to be an old shoe at this before you know it. Adam Conrad, broker and owner of Perry Wellington Realty and Circuit Mortgage. Have a great weekend and a fabulous week.